afternoons watching pigeons from palace windows. He was fascinated by clocks, sometimes disassembling them during sleepless nights, and crying when he couldn't fit the gears back together. Ministers learned to endure the charade, reading state reports to an emperor who nodded solemnly, but absorbed none of it. His speech deteriorated, words slurred, saliva gathered at the corners of his mouth, and his attendants kept silk cloths at the ready. When angry, he shouted single phrases repeatedly. Do it, without context. Foreign diplomats wrote home describing audiences that felt like seances, a man alive in body but absent in mind. Physically, his decline continued. The epileptic fits increased in severity, often preceded by a strange metallic taste that made him clutch his mouth in terror. After each episode, he would sleep for hours, his breathing shallow and irregular. His left arm began to twitch even when awake, an early sign of permanent neurological damage. Physicians noted a slight droop in the right eyelid, and asymmetry in his face, possible remnants of minor strokes. The imperial portrait painters, once masters of idealization, now resorted to painting from imagination rather than life. By his early 30s, Ferdinand's body resembled that of an old man. His hair thinned to wisps, his skin sagged, and his movements became stiff and uncertain. Each step required focus. He developed digestive troubles, chronic bloating, vomiting, and pain. Symptoms likely caused by anticonvulsant tonics, laced with heavy metals. Court doctors experimented with mixtures of opium, arsenic, and tinctures of foxglove. None helped. At dinners, Maria Anna often cut his food into tiny pieces, feeding him discreetly while servants pretended not to notice. She adored him in her way, part pity, part duty. Their marriage, devoid of passion, became a quiet alliance of resignation. In her private letters, she described her husband as gentle as a child, suffering as a saint, and lost to the world. Outside the palace, Europe moved toward revolution. Inside, Ferdinand's mind receded into ritual. He prayed for hours, confessed sins he couldn't name, and wrote the same lines of scripture again and again in a shaky hand. Ministers handled affairs of state while maintaining the illusion that every decision came from the emperor's will. In truth, the empire was ruled by a council of caretakers. Visitors left the Hofburg whispering about the strange emperor. Some thought him holy, others thought him bewitched. His courtiers called him Ferdinand the Good, not for wisdom or mercy but because he never had the wit to be cruel. He smiled when spoken to, cried when scolded, and thanked every servant who wiped his chin. But behind the polite fiction, the Habsburg bloodline was dying in slow motion. Centuries of consanguinity had produced a monarch, unable to sire children, unable to rule, barely able to exist. By 1840, Ferdinand's doctors began